We are going to go ahead and get started. I am Kathy Shepherd-Jones, and joining me today is Beth Potter, and we are here to provide a brief introduction to the Training Innovation Project. Captioning is enabled in this Zoom meeting, and we are also recording today. We'll make the caption recording available on the tiptrain.com website following the event. And we also have an evaluation that we'll put in the chat later in our session. But most importantly, we want to welcome you and thank you for being here. If you're willing and able to access the chat feature, please let us know from what part of the world you are joining us today as well. I think that's always fun to see. But we will go ahead and get started. And I'll give you a little bit of background on me. I am a rehabilitation researcher with the University of Kentucky's Human Development Institute, and this is Kentucky's University Center on Disability. I received a master's degree in rehabilitation counseling and a PhD in educational psychology. I am also a certified rehabilitation counselor. I have led a variety of state and national projects around employment, transition, and higher education, along with quality of life and assistive technology, universal design, and training. I like doing lots of different things. The days are never dull. Um, I was also fortunate to be part of Kentucky's recently concluded Return to Work project, and that is Retain Kentucky. And Retain stands for Retaining Employment Talent After Injury Illness Network, and that was funded by the U.S. Department of Labor and the Social Security Administration. I have a very deep respect for the power and the potential of vocational rehabilitation for people with disabilities and the value of work for all people. Beth, would you take a moment to introduce yourself?
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Beth Potter, and I am the Deputy Director for Administration for the Human Development Institute. And on this particular project, I have the pleasure of serving with my colleague Johnny Collette as a co-investigator with Dr. Shepherd Jones. And my background is in social work, education, and I have a certificate in federal project management. And I'm really excited to lead the training portion of this project that you'll hear more about later. Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you, Beth. So we'll go ahead and we will just dive right in. And our objectives today are to go beyond the surface of the Training Innovation Project, which is also known as TIP. And we will provide some background information on TIP and explore what our overarching goal is for this effort and why it matters and is relevant. We'll also talk about what we intend to offer you over the next, 4.5 years or so, through the activities that we're going to be beginning. And we will ask you to share a few thoughts with us, and we'll let you know some immediate next steps as well. So with that, the goal of the Training Innovation Project is to build the capacity of vocational rehabilitation professionals and aspiring professionals, and to serve vocational rehabilitation customers and to engage with employers through innovative training and technical assistance. That means that this is a dual customer model, and it really is going to guide everything that we do. It's an important distinction to recognize because the TIP will increase the capacity of state vocational rehabilitation programs and community rehabilitation programs as well, also known as CRPs, all around the country to provide services to individuals with disabilities, including students and youth with disabilities, and in a way that maximizes employment, independence, and integration into the community and the competitive labor market. So understanding this dual customer approach is really central to the work that we're doing because rehabilitation professionals have a really, really important job. Helping people reach their dreams and realize their potential is an amazing thing that takes skill and understanding of the people that you serve who are seeking to reach their employment and independent living goals. But that really is only part of the equation because it also requires a true understanding of business needs of the labor markets and the workforce in the area. And so much of everything that we all do is about relationships as well. How do we nurture and forge those strong partnerships that expand our networks and have the potential influence expanded so that we can have the support and empowerment of people with disabilities? So, in that way, the TIP project is going to provide training and resources for employers as well. And we'll use this as a way to model for rehabilitation professionals and so that you can then kind of replicate or you can tweak it and use it within your own work. We're going to focus on helping rehabilitation personnel to engage effectively with businesses. We're going to identify some promising dual customer opportunities where employers will benefit from knowledge around a variety of things, employment related laws, disability awareness, the connections between vocational rehabilitation and business that exist, along with technologies and universal design and all of those things that provide tools that grow strong, skilled workplaces. And we're going to map out how to provide training to employers and how to engage with other community-based organizations and business associations. We'll be bringing some of the things that we've done through Retain Kentucky along our journey with us. And the TIP project officially began October 1st, and we were one of 12 newly funded innovative rehabilitation training grants. And we are administered by the U.S. Department of Education Rehabilitation Services Administration. And these grants are all intended to provide new and improved methods of training rehabilitation personnel to have a 21st century understanding of the evolving labor force and the needs of individuals with disabilities. So we competed under the dual customer employer engagement and service delivery strategy topic area. And I'm serving as a project director and principal investigator. And as Beth mentioned, both she and Johnny Collette are the co-principal investigators on this 5-year award. Okay, so why does it matter? Well, we know that work and workforce are changing. The work of TIP is going to take place against a backdrop of some challenging realities and some opportunities as well. And according to the 2025 World Economic Forum report on the future of jobs, there will be 170 million new jobs created over the next 5 years. And that same report also found that 92 million positions will end. That for the math lovers who have joined us, that is still a net gain of 78 million jobs. But those new jobs will look different due to technology, due to economic shifts, and demographic changes as well. And that means different skills are going to be needed. And many states, like Kentucky, face significant workforce shortages overall. And that means that there are not enough skilled workers to meet current labor needs. And at the same time, there are jobs available. In Kentucky, for example, from the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce report last year, there are roughly between 1.5 and 2 open jobs for every Kentuckian who is available to work. So additionally, framing this is the fact that roughly 1 in 4 Americans have a disability. And this ratio is higher in some states. So like Kentucky, it's about 1 in 3. And when we consider this larger proportion of people with disabilities in Kentucky, we also find that only 39% of Kentuckians with disabilities are employed. And this is about a 40% gap between people with and without disabilities in Kentucky. And this is not dissimilar to other states. However, Kentucky has historically lagged behind other states in the sheer vastness of this gap. It is not a distinction that we like to hold and one that we want to very much change. Now, people with disabilities do represent a large demographic group, both in Kentucky and nationally, and are an often underutilized segment of the talent pool. And as such, they are critical to meeting a state's workforce needs. And in most states, the goals, the ideals that have been set out for workforce systems likely cannot be achieved unless these states significantly increase the participation of qualified individuals with disabilities into the workforce. And for this to happen, we have to increase the capacity and the supply of vocational rehabilitation professionals who serve individuals with disabilities. And that's part of how TIP is going to fit in to this equation and help address these needs. So there are certainly a lot of moving parts in this project. I think that's fair to say. Um, and we're going to talk a little bit more about several of them, but our overall plans first include what I call listening to the owls. So we have to learn from the people and the efforts who have come before us. We want to learn what the needs are, but we also don't want to try to fix what's already working well. We want to understand those models of success and share them. And we are currently doing needs assessments and key informant interviews. We have a needs assessment that is currently available online, and I will drop that link in the chat in a moment. It's a pretty short survey, and it asks you to let us know what are the most important training topics around partnerships, around potential employer resources, and what's sort of some foundational content that you want to know that you need to have access to. And the needs assessment will be available through the end of February, which I can't believe is almost upon us. Um, so we'll also be asking employers what they need and what they know about vocational rehabilitation as well. So as we're building out our trainings, we're going to ask employers what they would like as well. That's an important part of this equation. We're going to be offering trainings in a variety of ways. And I think that's one of our innovative approaches in the tip, because we know that people have different learning styles, different preferences, different interests, and we will provide information in lots of different formats, some of which are familiar and some of which might be a little bit novel to us, which makes it kind of fun. For example, starting next year, we'll be offering some advanced technologies for training that include immersive simulated environments with tools like virtual reality. We have a new partnership with CareerView XR, which is an organization committed to connecting educators, job placement professionals, and students to the world of work. Now, I think that Matt Shousey with CareerView XR might be with us. Matt, are you here?
Yep, I'm here.
Ha ha ha. Okay, so I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but might you say a few words about what the future could look like and some of the work that you're doing?
Absolutely happy to. Career VXR, we work with real world industry and business partners, and we use virtual reality cameras to capture a day in the life of different occupations, really to demystify the world of work for career seekers, but also for career counselors. We've been doing this for about 6 years and have found that we've moved from a generalist space, really working on overall comprehensive awareness education around what career pathways are. And we found that Career VXR can actually be a really effective tool in working with special populations and transitioning populations. We actually are working on another Disability Innovation Fund project that was funded in 2024 called XR for VR, where we are essentially adapting the Career VXR platform to help align individual disabilities with careers in our home state state is North Dakota, so with careers in our state's manufacturing sector. And it is really a dual customer approach as well, because we find that awareness is one of the biggest issues on both sides of the employment equation, both individuals in the disability community being aware of employers who are employing or involving assistive technology or have inclusive hiring practices, employment practices, things that make a place of employment more conducive to hiring individuals with disabilities, but then also, and especially on the employer side, making sure that they're aware that there are best practices, assistive technologies, all sorts of things that can be done to engage a population that very much wants to work and is very capable of working. We also do, we're adjacent to a lot of other companies in the virtual reality and augmented reality space. So in this project, I'm just excited to be able to learn more, to be able to get better at what we do in the other areas. We're working with vocational rehabilitation, but also to hopefully bring some insights from our industry into this project and help identify those areas that can be that can provide the biggest lift.
Thank you so much, Matt. We are just very excited about what lies ahead and what this can bring to the training arena for this grant and nationally as well. Super, super exciting stuff. So stay tuned, everyone, for more on this. But along with this, we're also going to be offering other modalities for training, and that'll include both self-paced and live trainings for we'll have peer learning opportunities and ways to access information sort of on the go or as needed. We will be also offering an academic certificate and micro credentials. So we realize that people come to training with different needs and different expectations. So we hope that we'll be able to find lots of different ways that we can make content usable and useful. We will have some ongoing series of training events that Beth is going to share more about in just a minute. And like I said, everything that we create is going to be done in a variety of ways. And we'll be using universal design strategies to do so. So that means that a learner may watch a 2-minute project overview video online, or may take part in a year-long academic certificate. So whatever we do, we intend to share through presentations, through newsletters, through summits, and online. We want to make sure that the people who need the information get it in ways that are most accessible and useful to them. And now I'm going to turn it over to Beth, who will dive in and talk more about some of these training opportunities and how we're sharing information.
Thank you, Kathy. If you want to go on to the next slide, that'd be great. So as you heard, there's a lot of things happening and a whole lot more to come. So it's going to be really important for you to stay in touch with us. And the best way to start that is to visit our website, tiptrain.com, tiptrain.com. And you can scan the QR code now and be connected. And you'll see there that you're going to learn a lot more about our goals, the training objectives that we have, resources that will be available. You'll be able to sign up for a newsletter and you'll learn a little bit more about us. So make sure you visit that website. I would bookmark it now because there's going to be a lot of activities that we'll be hosting that you may be interested in. Slide. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the training that we are going to be providing. And we have divided those into 4 different types of events and activities. The first one is our professional learning series. And this will be those self-paced or instructor-led courses that are housed in the training hub with options for you to earn micro-credentials and continuing education units. Those modules are going to be flexible. They're going to be opportunities for you to learn things that you can immediately apply at your work. And we believe you'll find them to be reflective of the things that you identify in other areas of training that you participate in. We'll talk more about that as we move on to our next one, which is our communities of practice. Communities of practice, they grow over time. I'm sure some of you have either heard of them or participated in them, but they are participant driven. And so we understand that this will develop over time and it will reflect the things that you are facing on a daily basis, either in ways to create new solutions or to identify ways to get past barriers or anything that you can do to promote and support and strengthen inclusive employment. So this will be a time for you to come together, share ideas, solve problems, and it will change in response to current issues that all of us are facing in this workforce. Learn at Lunch is another opportunity that we're going to offer. These are going to be sessions that will last around 30 to 45 minutes. We will include a guest speaker or a tipped team member. We may do hands-on activities, and we want this to become more of a relaxed space where anyone can come in and ask questions. You hopefully can stay for the speaker, but if not, that's okay too. We want you to have an opportunity to come in, get the information that you need, connect with others, and increase your knowledge and gain more tools to help you in your daily work. And then the final thing that we're offering is going to be a talk with Tip. And this will be drop-in consultation with project staff. We will post hours or segments of time that we will be available to offer you timely, practical support, to give you resources or referrals to help you in your work. Again, this will be participant driven. We want to meet your needs and we need to hear from you what those are so we can help you identify solutions or talk through things. So you will stay as long as you need to get the guidance that you're looking for. And if we don't have the answers, we are also developing connections over time that we can work with to help you get the answers that you need. So again, make sure you visit the website and sign up for the newsletter and stay in touch with us so that you'll know more about these activities. Kathy?
Thank you so much, Beth. I mean, and as we talk about this, I mean, what I really hear is options, so many different ways to connect. And hopefully, as we're discussing them, some of them are resonating with you, our learners. And while our National Innovative Training Hub website, Tip Train, will house our content, resources will also be made available through the National Clearinghouse of Rehabilitation Training Materials, through RehabNet. They'll be shared by our TIP National Advisory Panel Network and our partners, and through the Kentucky University Center on Disability, which is the Human Development Institute at the University of Kentucky. And also, over the course of the grant, we will be creating a marketing, sustainability, and replication playbook. So I'm just going to briefly share about some of the other training offerings that we'll have. And we will be offering a Disability Hiring and Retention Academy next spring. And that is in collaboration with the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. And what the Hiring and Retention Academies do are provide hands-on guidance to help employers to expand their talent pipelines by recruiting, hiring, and retaining skilled individuals from untapped talent pools. And this was piloted last year through Retain Kentucky, and early results found that 80% of employer attendees had either hired or retained an employee with a disability as a result that they directly attributed to their attendance at the academy. So we're going to continue to explore this emerging component for additional testing. And we're going to develop a planning guide that can be used in other states and with other partners, recognizing that the partnerships that we have may look different in other states and other regions and at other local levels. So we intend for the guide to be very adaptable. And we already discussed some of the virtual reality components we're looking forward to, and you got to hear from our partner, Matt Shousey. And we are also navigating the academic approval process at the University of Kentucky for an undergraduate certificate in workforce engagement that will be made available to students across colleges, across disciplines. Our tentative courses in this 4-course sequence include total workplace inclusion, business and industry, universal design applications, and a practicum where, and I think this is really neat, students can take some of our online trainings that are going to be available through the professional development series. So that I think is another really, really solid example of how we want to connect all of the training across our activities. And I think another good example of that interconnectedness is the annual Workforce and Employer Engagement Summit that we will host each year. So we have a save the date for this year already. It is September 22nd. And I know Johnny Collette is hard at work on this agenda, and we will be sharing more information on the website, tiptrain.com. All right, so if we do all of these things well over these next 4.5 years, we will have trained 10,600 learners. We will have created and shared 250 resources. We'll welcome 50,000 visitors and learners to our National Training Innovation Hub. And we'll grow our partners along the way because that increases our potential for sharing. It increases the replication opportunities and helps to sustain this work that we're doing. So there's lots of good outcomes to expect. Rehabilitation professionals will get content that is high quality, that's relevant to the work, and is useful. Rehabilitation customers or individuals with disabilities will experience competitive integrated employment outcomes and increase their economic self-sufficiency. That's a win-win. But employers and businesses will also have filled positions and a strong bottom line. And states will have strong, healthy economy. So it's really, I think that's win-win, win-win. So that is what we are aiming for with TIP. And I think we're starting off really strong. We have committed partners, some of which are longstanding and some of which are new, and they are shown on this slide. This includes the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board, the Kentucky Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, the Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, the Council of State Administrators of Vocational Rehabilitation, CareerView XR, the Kentucky Hospital Association, Kentucky Nurses Association, and Jobs for America's Graduates Kentucky, along with our 9-member advisory panel and our subject matter experts. So there's a lot of Kentucky partners represented here, but we're eager to grow these partnerships across other states to learn and share these stories of success. And I would be remiss if we didn't also provide a big thank you to our TIP staff. We could not do this without a team that's committed to the success of the project and who bring a variety of skills and passion to the work. So we appreciate you all. Okay, so what comes next? We have some questions for you. So we want to hear from you in the chat, if you would. We want you to share thoughts that you may have on any of these 3 questions. And question 1 is, when we think about building relationships with employers, where and how do we do that? Question 2, what concerns do employers share about hiring individuals with disabilities? I remember the concerns from 25 years ago when I was training to be a rehabilitation counselor. Tell me what those concerns are now. The third question is, how do businesses, employers, perceive rehabilitation as a whole? And what would we like that perception to be? Okay, so 3 questions. You can put in the chat anything that strikes you as you hear those questions. And I'm just going to pause for a moment to let everybody think about that. I am also going to put my email in the chat if anyone would like to take a little more time for their response, or if you prefer to reach out directly to me. So we will come back in just a moment. And Beth, can we also put the evaluation link for the session in the chat as well? Thank you. Okay. So now, thank you if you put something in the chat, or preparing to put something in the chat about question 1, where and how do we build relationships with businesses? Question 2, what concerns do employers share about hiring individuals with disabilities? And 3, how do businesses perceive rehabilitation? How might we want that to change if we want it to change? All right, and I have put my email in the chat, and we have the evaluation in the chat. So we're going to move forward here and talk a little bit more about staying involved and what comes next. So we want to hear from you. I hope that that is evident from the tone of our conversation today. You have the link for the evaluation, and you should know that the best way to get access to all of our information is through the website tiptrain.com. The QR code for the website is also on the slide, and we're going to put the recording for this event on TipTrain as soon as it's available. It will be found under training, as this is our first webinar. So yay, thank you all for being here as part of the inaugural webinar event. We will be scheduling the first Learn at Lunch in April, along with additional webinars. And we'll be launching the professional learning series and starting the next Talk with Tip, I think maybe in the next week or so. So you can stay in tune and in touch with all of that. You can also find the link to our needs assessment survey there at tiptrain.com. It's at the bottom of the homepage. And if you haven't completed that needs assessment survey yet, just take a few minutes to do so. So for everybody who has joined us live today, you are likely already on our email distribution list. So that means that you get our newsletter and information on upcoming events. Our first newsletter has already gone out this month, and it is also available under the news tab on the website. Beth, is there anything that you would like to add or clarify?
The email address, Kathy, that's something on the bottom of the page here. Is it tip
Oh,
training? I think
at
that's
UKY. That is an incorrect email address. It is tiptraining at uky.edu. And let me fix that in the chat real quick.
oh, okay. I
Did
both
you?
of us looked at that and missed it, but I caught it today. So
Thank you.
better late than never.
That is a very good catch. I appreciate that very much. And again, that email is tiptraining at uky.edu. I'm sorry, but I don't think you'll get any response if you email what is on the slide. So very, very good catch on that. And if there are no other clarifications, and on behalf of Beth and myself, we thank you for being part of our introduction to TIP. And know that this is really just the tip of the iceberg in
Oh,
terms of what we will be rolling out in the days and weeks and months ahead. So thank you for being part of it and enjoy the rest of your day.
thank you all.